Hello everyone. What I thought I'd do is something a little different, and instead of just ending up writing on LiveJournal what I did on my my trip here, which I never end up doing anyway, I thought I'd do a video blog, seeing as a lot of my friends are doing that, so I thought, let's get on a bandwagon. As of last year, Dad and I decided that we were going to do annual road trips. We live in Melbourne, and last year what we did is we went up to New South Wales, then we came down over to South Australia and then came back home again. All of this after Christmas and before New Year's. We'll just return on New Year's. This year again, we've just left after Christmas. It's the 28th, we'll assume, because I don't have a phone. Haha. As you can tell, I script these things like crazy. Yeah, it's the 28th. And we left at some ungodly hour of the morning. Dad woke me up at about 4. We packed everything up, left just before 5. And after some interesting driving, nearly getting killed by the sun, because we were going almost completely east. The sun comes up in the east, so that was always interesting. But after that we managed to get safe and alive to our first stop, which was Eden, which is on the coastline of New South Wales. The only reason we went there is because I'm a complete and utter nerd for whales and dolphins. And in Eden there's a killer whale museum, because that used to be, back in the day, when it was still legal and perfectly acceptable to hunt whales, there used to be a whaling operation there. And the interesting thing about killer whales is they had a tendency to be essentially the wolves for the hunters. They would go out, and if they spied, well, this particular pod in particular, would spy the baleen whales or sperm whales coming past the cove. They would then swim into the bay. The male leader of the pod, called Old Tom in particular, would come as close as he could to the fishermen, to the whaling station, and he'd start making a big fuss, jumping out of the water, going crazy, alerting to the people, food, let's go get it. And as whalers tend to, they rewarded the whales after the kill by giving the leftovers, what they didn't need, to the whales. Old Tom's bones are on display at this museum, and God, he's awesome and huge. I'm pretty sure that Keiko from the Free Willy movies wasn't even that big. He was the only whale to wash up on the beach, and after he passed on, the sign even states that no killer whales went into the bay after that. So essentially, Old Tom wanted food and knew humans were the best way to get it, and nobody else cared after that. One interesting thing is that Old Tom was a very impatient old thing, so he'd actually yank on the ropes after harpooning happened. So he's got, in his teeth, the grooves on his teeth are worn in from where he's been pulling on the ropes, and I just thought, in a morbid kind of way, that was really, really fascinating. After being in Eden, we got some more petrol, as is our wont, because we wish to keep driving. We then drove on to Cooma, which is where I currently am. We're staying in this beautiful little lodge called High Country Motel. The staff here are fantastic. They're so friendly, which from our previous experiences with motels, like our travel last year, not so friendly. They give you the key and go, yeah, good. Number's on the key, go find your number. But here they brought us to our door. That was really sweet, and they asked us if there's anything that we wanted. Told us about dinner. We just came back from dinner, me and Dad, and we partook in Chinese steamboat, which is, basically it's a giant soup, but you don't always drink the actual soupage. Dad, being Dad, chose to tease me for how I was choosing to prepare the meals, that I gave him not enough noodles, I gave me too many noodles, that I wouldn't eat a mussel. Obviously, he's over there. waving to the camera is kind of pointless when it's pointing here.
It's alright.
So yeah. Yeah, but the thought's useless when they don't know you're doing it. But I've pointed it out so they know. So, love from Dad. He did this. Totally did. I'm not lying at all. This is not the face of a liar. Yeah. And after this, I'm going to finish my editing. Take the milk that I'm using as a stand, so it's actually high enough for the camera to see my face. Give Dad back his little USB internet key so he can go back on the internet and look up whatever he wants. So that's the end of day 1. I hope you enjoyed listening to me ramble on endlessly, and the little clips that I've inserted from, you know, wandering around. Oh, excuse me. So yeah. Good night, peoples of the internet, or good day, depending on if you're on the other side of the planet. So.